Well, we're heading up to Sweethope Lough today. We're going via a couple of reservoirs on the way. Got a number of points of interest. We've got some ancient monuments, we've got some old towers, and we've got some really pleasant walking. Should be a good one. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Plan Watch Walk. You're at the home of great walking experiences. We endeavour to bring you some of the best walking around. Our first point of interest is Hollington Reservoir before passing through Little Swinburne before reaching Colt Crag Reservoir on our way to Sweethope Lough. On our return leg we pass through Great Bavington and Little Bavington. Enjoy! We're just parked up on the side of the road and we have the path stretching out ahead of us. We've got the signage, so we know we're heading in the right direction. Then we're going to go along and get to our first water, the first reservoir. Looks like a nice day ahead of us. A bit chilly, but a nice day. We've only been going a few minutes and we're down at Hollington Reservoir. And you can see how far the water's out. And if we look around, we get the side here of the walls where you can see the height of where the water's been. And it gives you an idea, even up in Northumberland here, how low the water levels are. So anyway, we're going to be moving around the side of Hollington, following the path up here, through the wooded area ahead of us. Just come across the field, over our first road, and we're continuing, as you can see there it's routed, on the path ahead of us here, which is Carrier's Lane. And the next point of contact is Little Swinburne. So we can see the really nice Northumberland rolling hillside. Really nice morning, late September. Great time to be out walking. Great view of the path we've just come up, just pretty much centre of the screen. As we pan around, we've got that large clump of trees just ahead of us there. Just to the left of that, you can see the root of the Roman wall. As we continue around, we've got the remains of a tower, which we're going to pass shortly. And then we've got Little Swinburne down below. We only need a couple of hundred metres, about 220 metres high, and we get a great view. We just came up from Little Swinburne, and on our right as we're coming up ahead of us on screen is the remains of a medieval tower. So let's go and have an investigate. We're continuing down the track with some really nice views, getting familiar with the sheep as we go. Pretty much the middle of nowhere, and amazingly there's road signs. That I've never seen before in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, Colt is the direction we're heading. And just over here on the left, round by these trees, is Colt Crag Reservoir. So that's our next point of destination. Well, just taking a slight detour down the side of Colt Crag Reservoir. I'll just walk through this rather nice and picturesque wooded area. Not sure if you can see through the trees there. We can just see the reservoir through the trees. And here ahead of us we have a rather depleted Colt Crag Reservoir. on a beautiful September morning. Well, we've recently gone into partnership with OS Maps, and the app on the phone here is the OS map, and all of the walks which are now going up on the site now have all the GPS coordinates for the OS mapping, so you can take the walk with you, and it's a great benefit. Completely free. So following the path, come to the woods ahead of us and the wall. If we have a look at the OS GPS, we actually need to head pretty much straight ahead. So, point of warning, don't follow the path. We're going to head through the gap in the wall ahead of us here, and we'll pick up on the other side. Although we're looking into the sun, that is the woods which we just come round. The path isn't particularly well signed, so I'll show a picture in the top right of the GPS screen to show where it is, and we continue up the side of the wall here, and we're going to be going through the wooded area ahead of us. This has proven to be a really nice walk. Quite a lot of varied walking as well, which is really nice. We've had a couple of reservoirs. We're coming up on Sweethope Lough in probably about half a mile. We've had wooded trails, we've had path walking, and there's been some great views along the way. What you'll notice is that I'm starting to bring in the use of the OS GPS. We've just done a partnership agreement with OS, which we're really pleased about, and that means that all of the walks are actually got full GPS routing on them now, and you can download the OS app free and pick up all of the routes through there, so you can take all the mapping with you. So that's really good. So I hope you're enjoying it. As ever, I am, and we'll pick up probably at Sweethope Lough in a while. We'll just come up the side of the woods, just through by the wall there. And as we came up the path, we've got the cottage straight ahead of us, so I want to turn left in front of the cottage, and we've got the start of Sweethope Lough here just ahead of us. We've got a road and a pathway on our right, which is straight ahead of the picture. We don't want to take that. I'll put a GPS screenshot in the top of the picture, but we want to be heading up through the wood clearings. If we go the other way, it's going to take us just directly across the other side of the loch, and we're going to be heading around the loch, see what it's got to offer. Looking forward to it. It looks really picturesque. If you walk through the woods here, just come across lots of these red mushrooms dotted all along the path. We're just wandering down to the shoreline of Sweethope Lough. There's an interesting bit of local history here around Sir Charles Angonan Parsons, who was famous for starting C.A. Parsons and also developing Turbinina, which was the first steam turbine boat. And the reference to Sweethope Lough is he was a keen fisherman and spent time up at Sweethope Lough. Now, as we come down the road, we get to the head of Sweethope Lough. just see moving off into the distance there. And here we have the cottage at the head of the loch. So we've got the head of the loch, centre of screen, which is on our right. If we look down to the left here, this heads on down to the cottage. You might just better see the cottage in the background where we initially came and saw Sweethope Lough for the first time. Well, here's the farm of Sweethope, with the namesake of the lake. And we've got an original hand-pumped water pump. Don't see many of those around. Anyway, we will continue on our path. Well, we've come over from where the wind farms are into the singular one. That's by the farm, Sweethope Farm. We're about 290 metres at the minute, and we've got a really nice view. We've got Bavington Crags ahead of us, and we've got the road meandering up on top of the next brow. It's not exactly a very main road. We've got cattle and sheep on the road, so not a lot of traffic. Trig Point up on top of Bavington Crags, and a little bit of a squall coming through, but you've got a great panoramic view of where we've been, where we can go, and where we're going. So we've got Great Bavington just ahead of us here. So we've only got about a mile and a bit to go now, and heading back down off the fells a wee bit and back to the car. After leaving Great Bavington, we continue down the path, and we can see here just ahead of us we've got the sign for St Cuthbert's Way. This particular part of the route where we're following St Cuthbert's Way, and it's really quite pleasant. We're just over some small hillocks we can just see ahead of us, just making our way across the fields and the fells. We can see behind us here where we've come across the fields, and just across ahead of us here on our right, the path, we've got a stile. I think we can just make it out. We've got a stile, and the path heads over the stile. We can just see the sign, and the sign says Little Bavington, so getting pretty close to the end now. Whereas we leave Little Bavington, we're only a little bit further to go. Got a bit of rain ahead of us here. We can just see we've got a road just off to our left here for Hollington itself. We're going to continue down this road. We've probably got about a mile or so before we conclude the walk. So that pretty much concludes the walk. It's been a great little walk, plenty to see, and we've had the reservoirs, the lakes, some really nice walking. If you like what we do, why not subscribe if you've got this far? Plenty of more projects coming along. We've got some great things in the pipeline, so we'll keep you up to date with those. Enjoy!